How many times have you been photographed today without even knowing it? Not by your family, not by your phone, by a camera mounted high above an intersection. One that doesn't care where you're going, only that you are there. Across America, thousands of flock safety cameras quietly scan license plates 24 hours a day, helping police recover stolen vehicles, locate missing children, and solve violent crimes in minutes instead of weeks. The company says its technology is now used by more than 6,000 law enforcement agencies and customers, creating one of the largest vehicle recognition networks in the country. For many Americans, that's reassuring. For others, it's unsettling, because the same technology that's credited with solving crimes has also become the center of an escalating national debate over privacy, government oversight, data ownership, and who gets to know where you've been. So here's the real question. When does security become surveillance? If every moment can be logged, every trip reconstructed, every pattern analyzed, have we crossed the line without ever voting on it? History teaches us that nearly every powerful technology arrives with the same promise. It's only for your protection. Sometimes that's true. Sometimes the unintended consequences become the story.
Welcome to the Retrospect podcast, a show where people come together from different walks of life and discuss a topic from their generation's perspective. My name is Ian, and as always, I'm joined by Stoney.
Hello.
And Jason.
Hello, everyone.
How's it going?
It's going.
Oh, it's going.
I just want, I want to, I got something to say right off the bat.
Okay, here we go.
I turned 62 since I think we did the last show or relatively close to it.
Okay.
I did not survive Y2K, 9/11, swine flu, bird flu,
Yep.
multiple recessions.
Yep.
That time I woke up in a cornfield naked.
Okay.
COVID.
Yep.
Brain surgery. 11 months later, this horrible accident that I had to learn how to walk again, just to be taken out by explosive diarrhea lettuce and a tick, a Bill Gates tick.
Okay.
Yeah, I have heard about the explosive diarrhea problem that's going on.
I have not. What the heck is
yeah,
that?
Oh, what?
Yeah,
Are you
I've not-
serious?
no.
Yeah, they've I forget the name of the bug.
It's a third world. Until this incident,
Okay.
it only happened in third world countries.
Okay, great.
What the media is not saying is now that you bring all of these immigrants to pick your lettuce, and what they do is they not going to go to the porta potty a couple blocks or a quarter of a mile away. They're pulling their pants down and crapping in the fields where the lettuce is.
Yep.
Yikes.
Yep, that's exactly what happens.
And then this lettuce gets picked.
Yep.
And now we got 2026 explosive diarrhea from the third world countries because we're too stupid to send these people back where they came from.
Yeah, it's a problem. They've said it's
a big problem.
They said it originated, I believe, in Michigan. Is kind of the center of this at
Really
Taco Bell.
shocking
Taco Bell.
because it's prepackaged lettuce.
Yeah,
I see.
and
So right now, no more prepackaged lettuce.
Yeah.
yeah, I would be kind of I'd be
Reticent?
I've been very. I eat a lot of salads,
Yeah.
and
Cut your own lettuce now.
I've been very wary of eating lettuce since this event.
Do they have they contained it down to like a certain farm or a certain batch?
I know
or-
Taco Bell had released a PR
Of course
type
they
deal
do,
on
yeah.
it. I don't think that's going to stop Taco Bell. People still go to Taco Bell.
Oh, yeah. No.
Simply because of everything is being expensive
In,
right
in
now.
fact, I'm pretty sure that more people would go to try and get like a lawsuit out of it now.
Yeah, exactly.
I ate the
Yeah,
lettuce and now I
it's-
can't stop.
Yeah, this
So,
explosive
yeah.
diarrhea stuff,
Exactly.
man. Anytime these foodborne type illnesses, and it's always dirty hands.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yikes.
we just have a problem, and I just we're just we just got problems right now because, just how our food gets to us now, and it's kind of scary.
Yeah.
It's very scary.
Can I tell you something that Maya and I have been doing recently? We just recently started watching the X-Files.
Oh, wow.
I've never watched that show ever.
Really?
Yeah. No.
Oh my God, that was my.
I have the whole the whole DVD collection.
I do not doubt it. Now that I've watched like the first 15 or 16 episodes of the first season, I'm like, oh yeah, this is
really good.
This is Stoney and Jason all the way.
Oh yes.
I will say there has been, I think, 3 or 4 episodes so far that have really been standout. The acting, the direction of the whole thing is
Cigarette Man.
So there's again, I'm only 15 episodes into
You'll get
season
to
You're
1.
hooked, though, aren't you?
Well, I think so. Yeah, I think there's only been a couple episodes that I've been like, it wasn't so good. But I think obviously with a long-standing like a show that has so many episodes and so many seasons, there's bound to be a few in there you're like, that's not my favorite. But
Right?
Yeah,
Spooky Mulder.
that's good stuff.
Yeah,
That's good stuff.
It's so funny in the show. It's Gillian Anderson who is the kind of the hardcore scientist type.
Right.
Gotta have.
It's a great show. It's
The
really a good
skeptic,
show.
And Mulder's the one more open
Way ahead
to
of its time.
more open to like strange and unusual and stuff. And
Right.
in real life, there's just the opposite.
But you also have to think about this is, we've talked about this on the show. Was this something that the CIA gave us to kind of prepare us for some things coming?
I've thought about that a lot because I
Yeah.
harken back to that show now about all this UFO disclosure that's going on right now, and I'm like, I wonder if there was something to it.
Yeah.
I know we have a show to get to today, but I want to tell y'all something that happened.
Okay.
This last week.
Okay.
I had to go for some MRIs, CAT scans, all this kind of crazy stuff, and I was on the way to the doctor, and lo and behold, a friend of mine pulls up behind me.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, okay, this is fun. Hey, I wonder where he's going. And so I call him. Hey, what do you, we speak for a few minutes and stuff like that. And I'm first at the light.
Okay.
And I know my friend is an atheist.
Okay.
And I have a bumper sticker that says, honk if you love Jesus. And so I sat at the light while it was green. And I could see him so frustrated because he doesn't want to honk and let me know, but he's got to get somewhere too. And I drove him literally nuts.
That's hilarious.
And right as the light turned yellow, I took off. Yeah, I had to get him. Had to get him.
That's funny.
Because if he'd honked, I'd have never let him live it down.
Never
let him live it down.
Yeah.
Just the little things in life that you got to just laugh at and just enjoy.
Of course.
Because he called me some names.
Of course.
I bet he did.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like in recent history we've kind of been talking about their surveillance states type stuff and things like that, and I feel like this was, I think whenever I had posed this topic, it was a couple weeks ago, and a lot of stuff on my feed on like Instagram and things like that were like talking about, there's a guy, and I can't remember his name. I didn't have it written down because I couldn't quite find it. There was a guy, maybe you guys have found it, on YouTube who like made like a little program, who didn't like disclose how the program was made, but he was like, with very little effort I can make like a program that could access these flock cameras. And like ever since then, like there's been a lot of people that have been talking out against this company and how, of course, it's like how they have access to all this stuff, and it's like not very well regulated or whatever. And it's like,
it's so funny how these things even got started. You read about how this company even got started. These
a little bit,
they used an Android phone and a box, and they created this camera system that actually was successful in solving a crime that the police attributed. And basically the guy told the other that were part of this, creating this new device, said basically quit your jobs because I think we're on to something. Yeah. And this is how this thing got started. Mm-hmm. I think the company's like worth like $7.5 billion. Yes. It's huge. But in a previous life, I dealt with this technology quite a bit. Back in 2015, I was dealing with this stuff, because all it is basically called ALPRs.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they're so common now. I mean, now they're putting them in front of neighborhoods.
Yep.
I mean, everybody's getting plates scanned.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a means of gathering data. I know at the place I'm employed at now, they utilize them.
Yeah.
On the
there was
on the grounds.
At a former place that I worked at, the like neighborhoods surrounding it had them like going in and out. The automated license plate readers, ALPRs, and
in Green Bay from January 1st to February 7th, 2026, 9.4 million vehicle reads were recorded this year. And 31 stolen vehicles were recovered. And that was it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the recoveries do matter, but the ratios raises some legitimate concerns, don't y'all think? I mean, how many millions of innocent movements should the government retain to produce these almost minuscule? What would you say? What would be the percentage of 31 out of 9.4 million?
Right.
I mean, it's not worth it.
I think these kind of things come down to, I know, and I can speak with some degree of I guess, for lack of a better term, some authority on this topic, because I was hands on with this stuff.
Right.
And I remember there was some points that came up with of how the agency that I was employed with utilized these for a certain outcome.
Yeah.
There were other agencies that wanted to piggyback on top of this and use it for something else.
Of course.
Which we were always very, very put up a brick wall on that. Mm-hmm. These are strictly for intelligence gathering. Right. That's it. They're not there to track this or track that or this or that or whatever the case may be. But they do come in handy for as establishing proximity to crime scenes.
Of course.
It puts suspected vehicles at certain points at certain times.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of good that comes out of this. But
I wouldn't use the word a lot. There's some good that comes out of this, because you also have the big news report where there was 20 some odd policemen that have been fired for using this to track exes and girlfriends and wives and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
So I agree with you. There is good that can come from it, but a lot of good, I got to disagree with you on that one. Not a lot of good is going to come from this.
They said it's. I mean, from what I was saying, there's a lot of crimes. I mean, I'm going to tell you. I mean, if your child is kidnapped, and that camera is instrumental in finding Well,
if.
I mean, there's
there's a whole lot of ifs.
Well, there are stories of successful, because the flock camera system worked as intended. But I think with any of this kind of stuff, it's like any technology. It's like AI or other these things. It's ultimately the wisdom of the user and how the user utilizes the tech. Now,
I feel like for me currently, it needs to be more protected. Right now, it's too open-ended. It's too there's too many people that can have access to it. It needs to be locked down. It needs to be secured.
But again, this is what the data centers are for. This is to hold all of this information. And just for the record, 0.000329%. That is what 31 out of 9.4 million is. So you're not even talking remotely near 1%.
But I guess I'm confused by,
and that's just out of Green Bay.
But like how many cars were stolen? You're telling us how many cars have been tracked and how many cars have been recovered, but not how many cars were stolen. If there were 39 cars that were stolen and 39 cars recovered, then that's a 100% success rate.
According to the Houston Chronicle, is showing that in Houston alone, they say police say flock-assisted investigations have helped recover more than $7.4 million in stolen vehicles since the program began in 2021.
Right.
So that's just one city.
It's the same thing we talked about, I think, on some previous episodes regarding like surveillance stuff. Is I like the aspect of it to a certain degree. I like more security, but like there's some trade-offs that come that I'm not so happy with. And then the extension of this is like how much more. It's not just reading license plates. It's also like tracking faces and things like that. That's also like there's like
that's what they do. They track the license plate, number, state, vehicle image, make, model, color, date, time, camera location, and any other vehicle, visible vehicle characteristics.
Which, in regards to crime and crime being committed in like a certain circumstance, like that's valuable data that you can't pass up.
But we know our government, and we know the companies that have the flock camera, they're not using it for that.
And just what Jason said from his own firsthand experience, obviously, once you have a system like this and it's potentially open-ended enough,
right,
you have other people who are like, oh, well, I want to use it for this, this, and this. And that's the part where it gets like...
That's where you have to... And even back then, we were very cognizant of the public perception
they will
of
not
these
like
of these cameras, and the they were up on the interstates and stuff like that, so they were all over.
And I get what you're saying. That's the second step.
Right.
I'm not even happy with the first step people that have it, let alone them giving other people access. I know our government. I know the agency that he used to work for. I know these things. I have friends in law enforcement all over the country.
Right.
I don't like them having this information.
You're right.
That's like going, the ATF saying you buy a weapon, the gun dealer has to keep the record for 10 years, and then they're supposed to destroy it. Okay, the ATF does not get rid of that information and never has.
Right.
So I know how these agencies work. So now they have where I'm going, when I'm going, and then Facebook comes in and says, oh, wow, we want to dig into that so we can see where people are shopping. What time are they going shopping? What time are they doing this? Hey, they're filling their gas tank up at this time. They're doing this. They're going here.
I found the person I was talking about. His name is Ben Jordan.
That sounds familiar.
Ben with 2 N's. I think he's a pretty. I mean, he has he's got over 1 million subscribers on YouTube. So I mean, like he's been around for a while. And I think he does other tech and security based stuff. But he had like a video that I think really exploded in like the past few months. That was like referring to this circumstance, these like AI police cameras, basically, or however you want to call them, the flock cameras. And then upon doing some more research into them and how very not secure they are, was able to kind of hack into a lot of them in his local area. Allegedly, or what however you want to say that, was able to get into them, and like he's like, with no real problem, I was able to access this, and it needs to be, I think, better secured. And I don't remember. I didn't get the chance to watch his video specifically, but I've seen like parts of it, and I would like to I'd like to rewatch it again and see what he has to say about some of it, because it's
I think this goes into basically what this all kind of connects together with what we did the episode on the new car technology that's coming out with cameras. I believe there is a partnership with this flock stuff along with Ring.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think there's a kind of this web that's being that's kind of evolving.
So when you take that information and you store it in the data centers, and then you take the car information starting in 2027 and you store that in our data systems,
right?
Who has access to it?
Right.
Because that's what the data centers are for. Where do you think all this information is going to be stored? The data centers. That's the whole point for the data center.
Yeah.
The big thing, I to circle back a little bit to what you were saying, Stoney, I understand what you were saying about how, like, you don't like certain people to have access to it, or, the government's not going to, do things properly. It feels almost like the discussion we've talked about with AI already. It's like, it's here and it's here to stay. That's the problem, is like, no matter how hard, I think people are going to try their best to like damage and ruin and tear down these flock cameras. Like I think the technology is here, the company is here, and now with the help of the government is worth millions of dollars. And like there's no. My thing now is like we're already over the hill. The cameras are
the
here.
event horizon.
The event horizon.
But
Now I need to be the advocate for like how are we going to make this more secure so that way not just everyone has access to it.
But you say that there's two things you mentioned in the past episode about people coming and knocking them down and tearing them down, etc.
Yeah.
But over 50 cities this year alone, over 50 cities, counties, and parishes have. Jason mentioned one that have either ended the contract or are removing the cameras because they feel the information's not being used correctly.
Right. And that's what I'm saying is I think that like again I think I don't want to say they're making that decision because of this kind of stuff, but I think that there are a lot of people that are informed in this regard where like once you start digging into it, and now I don't know if there's other companies that do it or if it's this company, quote unquote Flock, for instance, that doesn't have this secure back end or whatever. Right. But like once you start digging into it and you realize how many people have access to that, it kind of works like whenever people used to have webcams. And like people didn't realize once it's plugged in and it's like operational on your computer, like there's a potential for people to access it if you're not protected in the right ways. And and now it feels like we're on that, but now like on a public scale where it's like, okay, well now who has information? It's just it kind of gets a slippery slope.
These cameras, I'm telling you, it's like, I kind of want to, really a little bit on what Stoney said about he doesn't trust, certain entities having this information. To me, this is where the argument is going to be made that it's safer to remove it out of human hands and put it under AI.
No, gosh, please, no.
I'm just telling you.
I disagree with you.
I have a feeling because, people are always going to be susceptible to do things
nefarious.
I mean, it's you're never going to have virtue all the time in people. We're a mixed bag. Sometimes we're virtuous, and sometimes vice wins out.
Well, think about this. When we're talking about the 27 cars coming out, it's going to be AI that decides whether you can drive the car or not. That's not going to be somebody sitting there going, oh, well, I don't think so, click. No.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir, why is your heart rate so high? Why are your eyes dilated? It's not like, what's that called? What was the button you could push and talk to somebody?
Oh, that was
OnStar.
All-Star. Yeah. And it's not going to be like All-Star.
OnStar. That was what was it GMC?
I think so. Yeah, or I think a lot of GM vehicles.
GM products.
Yeah. So I think it was like,
but there was a couple of them. But still,
I think the service was OnStar. Yeah,
it's not. You're not going to talk to somebody. Excuse me, sir. Why are you upset?
I had a Hyundai for many years, and I had that Hyundai Link
whatever
or whatever it was called, and So you press the button, somebody would come on.
It was probably the same organization. They just badged it differently for the vehicle.
So.
And when it popped up, it popped up at the top of it. This is a Hyundai or this is a Chevrolet or whatever.
Right.
So
but a lot of them since the beginning of this year, I'm looking at a list of almost 30 cities and counties who haven't even allowed it. They're stopping it from coming into their cities too. So people are waking up, maybe. Yeah. And so I know you're right that we've probably hit that apex.
Now again, obviously, I'm saying this for like major, cities. Obviously, I think in the kind of suburban area that I live in, there's like a county line. There's like a bridge that crosses over, and I know that there are flock cameras that face in both directions heading into that county from where I am. And so there's like a couple things like that where like on the road, there's like in my area. I think I can't remember what the website is. I'll look it up while we're talking about it. I believe it's DFlock.
While you're looking, I'm gonna throw this out here.
Yeah, there is an organization out there.
Yeah.
As of July 16th, 2026. There are at least 42 cities, towns, or municipal agencies in Louisiana, at least 55 parish sheriff's office, and several state, university, tribal, and special district agencies with flock systems in use in Louisiana. And in our area that we live kind of. We have them here.
Yeah. That's what I was saying before. Is like, again, I can look at where I'm at on the map, at least where I live at, and I can see that, like, okay, not too far from here, if I'm going to cross over the county line, I know that there's going to be cameras, which for a situation like that, I think kind of makes sense, especially because I think there's some nefarious individuals that run things back and forth between there. But I do think that
in our little city, there's 11 cameras.
Yeah. That's crazy to think about.
Well, they got them on all the police cars now.
Oh yeah, I believe it.
No, they are.
Oh yeah,
they're definitely. That's part of the package now.
Yeah,
it's so yeah. It's things are quite the technology has come down quite a bit. I was kind of looking at a little bit of the history of these ALPRs.
Yeah.
So funny because as I remember when I was the homeowners president, there was talk of putting cameras in front of the neighborhood. And they wanted to have the cameras monitored by the local law enforcement agency,
right?
Who would hold the server and they would be able to track plates that are coming into the neighborhood.
Was it the Real-Time Crime Center or something?
Yeah. So, but it says here the first automated license plate reading technology emerged in the 70s in the United Kingdom as a way to monitor traffic and enforce road regulations. In the 90s, the United States really began experimenting with them, and it's just kind of going, but there was no kind of interconnected national network.
Of course.
It was like this, agency might, this town might use them or whatever the case may be. And then, then after 9/11 is when it took off. I mean, you basically, the philosophy became collect as much information as possible for another attack occurs. So, Congress gave all that money and they redid some bills, and that's generally when a lot of this, it's in tragedies that the things get pushed.
Of course.
Because we've said it a lot. When fear sets in, people will do and acquiesce to things they would have never thought they would do. So to me, when people say, I would never do that, well, I don't necessarily believe you. I really don't.
It gets spun as safety. The car vehicle thing, which are not elected people. This is some stupid government agency for highway safety, blah, 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 who's mandated this in the new cars for 2027. That's not elected people. That's not our representatives. That's not people looking out for us. And now it's I don't want to say it's law, but it's law.
I'm telling you that the technology from what I remember when I was dealing with it hands-on, I remember just how much now those cameras have changed. I mean, they can thousands of plates an hour. They can take pictures of vehicles over 100 miles an hour.
I believe it.
Easy, multiple lanes, all of those things. With the modern ALPRs, oh my God, they can just. It's nonstop.
Right.
Nonstop.
The website that I'm talking about is I think it's dflock.org. Is the website, and you can see they have like a place where you can like help fund their I think what they're doing.
They're tracking it.
Oh yeah, please let me give them money to take my privacy and my things away.
No. This DFlock is like a
they're like an
crowdsourced.
Oh, okay. I'll send them my money.
That's what I'm saying. So
if
right
I
now,
had any, thanks to Workman's Comp, but
it says that right now the website DFlock, which again is like this. I think it's like a crowd. I'm not sure if there's a person or an organization that's behind this, but so far they have mapped out over 100,000 cameras in the U.S. And they also say, they proudly put that 88 cities have rejected APRS or LPRS, which I guess is license plate reading systems or something. I guess is what it is.
It's the same technology.
Yeah. So
I think one of my favorite ones in Pasadena, Texas, an officer was forced to resign amid the investigation that he used Flock, dig this, to monitor and stalk one of his female colleagues.
Yeah. That's it.
Police officer. He used it to monitor another police officer.
Hello. And the DFlock website I'm talking about, there is a map function, and you can see like hot zones, and you can zoom in and then see individual cameras and click on them and see what company owns them or what company may have put them there. And that's what I was saying about the bridge in particular. There's like a bridge between two counties, and there's cameras facing in both directions. And so as I was scrolling in, like the closest to where I live, I was looking at it and I was like, oh, okay. I think I know where they are. And of course, in fact, driving there a couple nights ago, I was able to look past and I was like, oh, there it is. So it's interesting to see,
Well, the thing about it is and this is how this officer did this.
Yeah.
Was you can search and dictate what the cameras are looking for in real time too. So he was able to say police car, unit number, because it can see those little unit numbers on the side.
Oh, yeah.
It can see the license plates.
It can also tell if you have like certain bumper stickers or whatever.
Like my honk if you love Jesus
exactly.
bumper sticker.
Right.
And so that's how it's pretty specific information, but that's how they're doing that.
Yeah, it's crazy. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean these. It's
But what happens when you have? I'm sorry to interrupt you. What happens when you have one near a church? Okay, who's going and coming from the church? Like that church we got in the the Baton Rouge area.
Yeah.
And the police and the city officials had the old man across the street giving them information and writing down license plates and telling people who were going to the church.
Right.
Now you just, now we can just look at the guy's ring or his flock camera, right down the road.
I guess.
Because, somebody goes down the flock camera this way at 20 minutes till 11 and then leaves and goes the other direction an hour and a half later. Guess what? They went to that church.
Well, I tell you what, as I was kind of just doing some research on this topic and trying to figure out the pros and cons and what people were saying is, from someone who dealt with this stuff, of course I don't necessarily have a problem with the collection of data. I guess, it's how it would be used. Now, I did read a story of kind of this lady in Denver. I don't know if y'all saw that police showed up at her door and accused her of being in a crime or something to that effect, that she was accused of something, and the police had looked at flock cameras. How she beat it was she actually produced her own tracking data from Google Maps, and her dash cam of where she was at that time. Of supposedly when the flock camera said she was in the area that gave rise to this particular crime. So what's happening is people are saying people should now generate their own backup.
I have dash cams in my vehicles.
GPS data to show where you've been.
Oh, yeah.
One of them is a GPS dash cam.
I'm thinking about getting one for my car.
Okay.
You should.
Yeah.
But
I think it would be neat.
It is. It's fantastic. Every time somebody cuts me off, I hit the lock button. And that's one of the things Ian's trying to teach me some editing stuff. I want to do the best of the area that we live in, dumbasses, for people that are just...
that would be good.
But you see, that's kind of what I'm worried about, though. I mean, this movement database is going to be able to reveal who visits churches, synagogues, mosques, gun ranges. Think about that. Put one in the area of the gun ranges when you want to know. Political headquarters, union meetings, addiction treatment centers. I mean, the list goes on. Reproductive health clinics, journalist office, a protest location. I mean, this is too much. People still have a right. Just because you are out in public doesn't mean you want to give up your right to privacy.
Right.
But you're in the public.
Yeah, I mean, that just fundamentally goes down to what is considered private. I mean, is is any image of you can be considered private that is outside the home?
Right.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's always been routinely kind of understood that once you leave your home, you're kind of fair game, so to speak. So I don't know. It's like these things. Unfortunately, I know. It's like any technology, it's not 100% foolproof.
Of course.
Just like what I just mentioned in Denver. As I said, it goes back to if your child got kidnapped.
Oh, yeah.
A mother was getting her, at the grocery store, put her kid in the car. Yeah. Some guy jumps in the car and drives off with the kid.
Yeah.
Which has happened.
Yeah. It's the same. It brings us back. It brings us back to the previous episodes we talked about stuff like this. Is that it's hard to vote against Santa Claus. It's like it's the idea that like whenever you package it like that, it's like the what if of like the worst. I don't want to say worst case scenario, but like a possible worst case scenario of like crime or violent crime and that kind of stuff. So it's like the second you package it like that, where it's like, just imagine that like all the crime that we're going to prevent, it's like, yeah, but also like you're collecting a lot of data and probably going to sell it to people and like you're going to, all this other stuff that you're not going to tell us about. That's like,
well, you know what, we can't really afford to put the flock system in our area, but if you take that information and sell it, you can go ahead and just put it in our area. That's the next step. I did find some information out for you. Flock's 2025 Impact Census says its technology supported approximately 1 million investigations and assisted in an estimated 20% of cleared cases in participating jurisdictions. Okay. That's still 1 million, but remember, we had 9.4 million files in just out of Green Bay.
Right.
So if you add everything that Flock's done in the country and it adds to 1 million, just in the Green Bay area, it's only 10%.
Yeah.
So how many billions have they collected across the country?
Oh, yeah.
For 1 million.
Crazy.
I feel like I think this kind of goes back to what I've said in the past. I think you take the technology moves 3 steps forward.
Right.
Then there is this blowback. And there's just everybody, everybody's getting and then all of a sudden you take a step back.
Yeah.
But you still 2 steps forward from where you were
and that's
before.
What I'm saying. And that's what I meant
so
by
that's what I'm saying.
But see, it's those steps that I'm worried about. Remember when cell phones came out? Law enforcement went out and said, oh, well, they're willingly broadcasting it across the open air, so we should have access and we don't even need the court to give us a warrant for that. They're just willingly doing it. Remember that big fight?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Oh, well, the internet, they're willingly putting that information out there. We don't need a warrant to monitor somebody's internet.
Oh, yeah.
So, hey, they're willingly driving from their house to the doctors. You know, if they don't want their information out there, just don't go to the effing doctor. How about that? That's your choice. Yeah, and if you don't support this system, that means you don't agree to safety, and we want to make everybody's life better. Don't go to the doctor. Don't go to the grocery store.
Right. You can't.
I think that's how they killed. What was it? The Iranian leader.
Really?
Yeah, I think the Israeli government was able to tap into the flock cameras.
I believe it. I'm telling you, it's not hard.
Established where, because they can just monitor. This is his route. This is his pattern. Yeah. This is where he's going to be.
Yep.
And I think that's exactly from what I read. It's they were able to do it.
But remember, what just happened with Israeli and their phones in Iran, and they blew up how many people's heads? Oh, did you look on your iPhone? Yeah. Who's the underwriter of all the iPhone stuff now? The Israeli government.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
One of the I remember hearing recently about there was like a court case where I think that they're changing the I think what the government or what the police officers are going to be able to force you to give as far as like security for your phone. Like I think that there was a situation where like obviously you can't in a court system they won't force you to type in your PIN code to open up your phone because that's like an invasion or whatever. But like they can do it with your biometrics, with your face or your fingerprint. Mm-hmm. So that's the thing where like people are saying now, like, well, don't use facial tracking or don't use your fingerprint reader because like it's gonna they can still force you to give that information up. So again, it goes back into the question you were asking a little while ago. Whenever you step out of your house, like, is your likeness even yours, or do they just have the freedom to take whatever they want? And now, especially with AI, it's like that same sort of situation all over again, where it's like you have to go on to Meta now has like forced AI and Facebook and all these things where like you have to go into your settings and specifically uncheck a box that says like, I don't want people to use my likeness for AI. Mm-hmm. But by default, a lot of that's turned on. So if someone wants to, they can like use your image and like technically, legally, because the settings are all turned on, they can just use your likeness.
But think about this.
Like, I don't like that.
Take it the next step. What's the big thing in the news and social media right now? Sophie Cunningham going and pointing her finger. And every picture is now somebody taking and pointing their finger. All these women and young girls and even some boys now are pointing their finger, and they're taking that and putting that on AI. AI can see your fingerprints. So now you got your face, now you got your name, and now you got your fingerprint in AI.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to tell you, I think Facebook was that was the whole point of Facebook is pictures. And I think, Stoney, you've kind of brought that up in the past too, that it's,
well, we know AI is a CIA thing.
Exactly.
And so
Facebook,
where did it say, hey, post a picture of you when you were 17 and now post one of you when you're 40.
Right.
Okay, that's so they could take that information and put it in facial recognition.
Yep.
That's an easy one. That's not even hiding it.
No, they're not. That's what I said. You're building the database.
And guess where that information goes? All these data centers. That's where they're storing that information.
Mm-hmm. Question is what they're going to do with it. I mean,
it's not going to be anything good.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Because the percentage of stolen cars and a couple of people going in and out of a neighborhood that they shouldn't have been in is not weighing against how much information they're collecting against everybody.
The crazy thing, we had talked about this on a couple of previous episodes about like now the most valuable thing is your attention. Mm-hmm. And the most valuable thing to marketing departments, to social media stuff is your attention. If they can get you to sit there and scroll and keep scrolling and advertise things to you, and to cater it so specifically to you that you can't look away from it and that you just want to buy it, that's the most valuable thing. And the second they can collect enough data to sell it to whoever they want, so that way they can have a perfect profile of what you like the most and what you can't resist buying and what you can't resist looking at, they will sell that data to the highest bidder, and they have done it for over a decade, and they will continue to do that. They will spend billions of dollars to create a data center to have a profile on you that is perfectly tailored to where you just can't stop buying and you can't stop watching. That is the most valuable currency right now is your attention.
But
the second you stop,
the proof of what Ian's saying is the proof of what he's saying is how can you move the screen on your phone now with your eyes?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's what I mean. They make it super easy. It's convenient.
Oh, it's convenient.
It's so nice.
Oh, it's so
that's
convenient.
Amazon. Amazon is the biggest distributor of everything. Mm. Oh my God, they are the biggest seller of everything, and they're worth so much money for a bunch of stuff that people I think sometimes do need, but more often than not, what they don't need. Mm-hmm. But it makes it so easy. You get a subscription. You buy this little thing, and then before you know it, it's here. It's flying from a drone.
I was going to say now from a drone
into your yard. It's a magical experience. It's Amazon. It's so wonderful. No, they're selling your data to the highest bidder. Oh, that's great. And again, they make it so easy. The same thing with Temu. Temu made it so easy. They made it feel like you were
so cheap.
The fear, exactly, with the fear of missing out. Oh my gosh, there's a flash sale.
Shop like a billionaire does is their big campaign thing.
90% off. I can't pass it up. And then I had a relative of mine that was like that she had kind of a shopping problem. And it to a point where we were like, hey, you
gotta chill out.
Yeah, like you don't need any of this stuff. But like it's because it was so so tantalizing,
Addictive. It's addictive.
Yeah, it was just so convenient.
Temu
so
is
easy.
addictive.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, there is some on the legal front. There has been some Supreme Court cases that have kind of addressed some of this that's going on right now.
Okay.
I pulled some up here. United States versus Jones. This was a GPS tracking of a vehicle.
Okay.
They say federal agents secretly attach a GPS device to this person's vehicle and monitor it for 28 days.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
too
The
long.
Supreme
That's a long
Court,
time.
the Supreme Court unanimously found a Fourth Amendment search. The majority opinion rested mainly on the government's physical trespass. Officers placed a tracking device on this person's property, but the concurring opinions became enormously important for modern surveillance law. Justice Sam Alito, joined by 3 other justices, argued that the constitutional problem was the prolonged monitoring itself, because society would not reasonably expect police to secretly follow every movement of a vehicle for weeks. So, says to why it matters for flock cameras. Jones suggests that there may be a constitutional difference between observing one car at an intersection and using a network of cameras to reconstruct weeks or months of travel. However, the court did not establish a specific rule governing ALPR databases in that case. And they got others. So there are some, I think there is some pushback on some of this stuff. So it'll be very interesting to see how they kind of walk that tightrope of
I've got some
doing
pushback. I was hoping we would kind of go in this direction, and I've got some pushback because I know it's here. Like Ian said, it's here. So, and we've talked about AI and restrictions that should be on AI.
Right.
Well, I've kind of come up with my own list on some stuff that needs to happen with these flock cameras to keep them defensible. Okay, let's just, hey, they're here. They can be some benefit, but they can also have a lot of negatives. So the first thing I have on here is a city or state or whatever should not be able to put this without public approval.
Right.
All right, like the town we're in, they didn't even ask us.
Yeah.
We should have voted for that. First off. Then there should be a strict 30-day maximum retention record.
Right.
30 days, and I think that probably would come from, the 30-day ruling there.
Yeah.
Bam, done. That information is destroyed forever. But like if you look at the ATF, oh my God, 10 years, they're not going to destroy it. Then nationwide searching should be disabled by default. Automatically. Done. And then there should be mandatory case or incident numbers. Suspicious activity, training, or just checking should never be accepted as search criteria. And then a warrant for prolonged historical tracking should be done. And we just talked about that one.
Yeah.
And then independent verification before a stop. No monitoring of protected activities. If it's protected by law, it can't be there and it cannot be searched.
Yeah.
And I think that should be number one, actually.
I feel like another thing, this is probably getting too into the weeds, and I don't think it would ever actually happen, but I feel like I would be more okay with it on like interstates and major highways. But I feel like there should always be a reasonable detour around it. I feel like that, and I know it kind of alleviates some of the security purposes of it. But like, if people want to travel on the main road and like the biggest path where the most vehicles are on, that the big commute lanes or whatever, that's probably okay. But like, I feel like if you're wanting to drive around, your neighborhood or I don't know, the small back roads, I feel like that shouldn't be something you worry about. But again, that just opens up a place where people can do nefarious activities that are off the beaten path. But
I agree.
I don't know. I just feel like
hold on. I got two more. Independent audits with public transparency reports. Number of scans, searches. Yeah, that's a key word.
Yeah.
Alerts, verified hits, arrests, recoveries, false alerts, outside agency requests, and disciplinary incidents.
I feel like you should have to like log into the system and they can track who you are whenever you're accessing
absolutely. And that's what this is saying.
Yeah.
You have to be able to do that. And then number 1, serious penalties for misuse. That should be law, and that should be just period. And, then the program should expire automatically unless the elective officials publicly renew it after reviewing measurable results.
Right.
Yep.
We're going to do this for 18 months. We're going to do this for 2 years. And if you don't get the public support for it, it automatically stops. I think they call those sunset clauses. Is that what they call those? Okay, that's my list. And I think that should be mandatory, period, minimum.
Right.
To have the flock system in your city, county, whatever.
Yeah, whatever you call it.
Well, here's another Supreme Court case. These are important because this is basically where a law is right now regarding all this type of stuff. In this case, this is the court's clearest recognition of the mosaic effect. And for people not understand how the mosaic, what that mosaic effect theory is basically it's one thing doesn't kind of rise to that level, but if you start interconnecting things together, it kind of creates a tapestry, a mosaic, and that's where this idea comes from. But they said the government obtained approximately 7 days or more of Timothy Carpenter's historic cell site location information from his wireless carriers without a probable cause warrant. The court held that acquiring those records was a Fourth Amendment search. Chief Justice John Roberts explained that people retain a legitimate expectation of privacy in the whole of their physical movements, even though each individual movement may occur in public, and the records are held by a third party. The court emphasized that aggregated location data can provide an intimate window into a person's life by revealing visits to homes, doctors' offices, churches, political organizations, and other sensitive locations. Because phones accompany their owners almost everywhere, historical location records allow the government to travel backward in time and reconstruct a person's movements with little effort. Now, why this matters with flock cameras? Carpenter provides the strongest argument that a massive, searchable archive of vehicle sightings might eventually become constitutionally different from ordinary visual observation. The court specifically limited its holding, though, and stated that it was not deciding questions involving conventional security cameras or every record that incidentally reveals location. So,
okay, now just for the record, we're a step behind the curtain, as Ian likes to say. I'm holding my hands up going, hello, I just said that a minute ago. Right. I just said the whole thing. But then here, let's defund the police. Okay, now let's add all that to we want to defund the police. Do we really need the police now if these flock cameras can see when you're speeding, when you're making illegal turns, when you're not using your signal, everything that you do? Add that to the information in 2027 in your vehicle. You combine that with the flock cameras. Now they know everything you're doing, everywhere you're going. Like Ian said, how long you're there, how long you're in TJ Maxx. Hey, can I sign in and see how long Miranda's in TJ Maxx and Burlington Coat Factory or whatever? You know, and now they can know everything about you. Right. That is against the Constitution.
Well, right now it says the Supreme Court has not yet issued a definitive ruling specifically deciding whether long-term querying of a nationwide flock or ALPR network requires a warrant. That remains an evolving legal question.
Of course it does.
So it's not against the law to do it because the courts have not ruled on that.
You know what this also makes me think? Anybody now that, like, if for some reason, like, unless an individual is like really tech savvy and can really make their location disappear, moving forward, anytime like the police is like, I'm sorry, we just can't find the killer, we just can't find the guy, I'm gonna be like, BS. You mean to tell me you have all this information, you have all these license plate scanners, you can tap into someone's phone and track all their blah 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 blah, unless they're like actually like really dedicated at this. Like I feel like some of like the smaller term individuals that have done certain things, like I'm just thinking of like certain assassination attempts that have happened in recent history, certain things that have taken place. Like we're just moving in this thing now where it's like, I don't know, I'm starting to get more, if I don't see some real concrete evidence of this actually being effective and like stopping individuals from doing stuff, I'm going to be like, I don't know, I don't think this is doing what you guys had talked about it doing. So,
well, I think these are tools.
I know. Yeah.
Like anything else.
Yeah.
Can they be helpful? Yes. Can they be abused?
Yes. Yeah.
It goes back to what are we comfortable with, and,
right.
and as I said, as Americans,
mm-hmm.
For our European listeners,
yeah.
of this show, they're probably a little bit more accustomed.
Yeah.
To
I think
this kind of surveillance, because it's been part of their kind of normal life for so long.
I believe flock cameras have been around in England for
the
a
70s.
long time.
The 70s, yeah.
So they're a bit more used to this idea of cameras everywhere. And it kind of offends our kind of American sensibilities of, I don't want the government in my life, and it's kind of this, but the reality is, just like after 9/11,
right,
that they passed laws and we did things that probably before 9/11, no one in their right mind would have ever put. So my question is what's the next 9/11
right.
type of event in this country,
right,
that all of a sudden, oh, well,
security crackdown.
I think we got to do something different now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think as much as people, they don't like it, I think all it's going to take is the right incident to occur to all of a sudden, we don't care what you think. We got to do this because we got to protect people.
Or I was going to say,
I think that's what's going to happen.
Or what is the opposite of that? What is the event that's going to take place in the future we're going to get rid of all of it or get rid of most of it?
I don't think it'll ever happen.
I know.
But I want y'all to think about this. Look at what we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
Right before I can remember.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what surveillance was? Right before I was alive? We're talking about tracking everything. Do you know how information was gotten right before I was born?
By mail?
The operators who were listening to the phone calls, the switchboard operators,
right?
They knew everything about everybody because they were listening into the conversations.
Right.
And now... You were going to say, go ahead. Look like you were about to pop off with something there. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that.
Yeah.
What was it, Lily Tomlin? Hello, this is, and that's what it was back then.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
you were in a small town. Everybody knew where you went.
Right.
Blah, 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 blah. But now it's...
Yeah. I think it's different, though, when it's a small town thing. Whenever my local neighbors and my friends and my community knows where I am or knows what's going on or knows potentially my routines, I think it's a little bit different than like the government knowing it and, again, selling my information to people to advertise things to me or potentially track me down if they don't like the way I said something one day or I'm feeling one way. That's the stuff that gets a little different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got the local supermarket. I got Miss Janice, sweet old lady who's like the door greeter. Love her. Every time I come in there, she always has something to say and is always cracking jokes and probably knows my schedule, how many times I go to that supermarket more than anybody else does, and I'm okay with that. That's fine. She's great.
Well, how many times I've heard people, I've got to get out of this town. Everybody knows my business.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
There's no cameras, but everybody knows your business.
Yeah.
So it's kind of here's the question.
Right.
If you had the power to stop one violent crime tomorrow,
okay,
but the price was allowing your daily movements to be quality recorded for years, would you make that trade?
No.
I wouldn't. The thing is that like again,
If it was your loved one.
I know. Well,
think about that. Not a stranger.
I know.
If it's your loved one, would you do it?
That's the.
I don't know. People say that's kind of a. I think I probably would because I wouldn't nothing to happen to my.
Yeah.
I can say this in for my family.
Yeah.
The victim is armed.
The
The victim here has teeth. So,
right.
The flock camera is going to get you coming in.
Yeah.
Right.
But you won't be getting out again to get back on the camera. So
I feel like before this is my feeling. Maybe this is where I get stuck in the old ways, and this is where I become like the crotchety old man, and I don't want to see change in the future.
You're not far.
I know. Well, I'm getting there. No, but I think what I'm gonna say is gonna sound a lot like it. Is I don't like this newfangled technology. I think obviously things aren't perfect, but I think that there is a system in place that does work currently and has worked for the past few decades with law enforcement and with officers and with firefighters that has only gotten and ambulance drivers, paramedics that has worked and has continued to work very well over these past few decades. Yes, it has its ups and downs and it has its flaws, but I do think I trust in that system that we currently have, and I don't think that adding that in my personal experience would probably... Now, again, obviously, I'm not a victim of someone, staking out my house and breaking into my house, or, I don't think I live in like a super bad part of town where like I have to worry about that. Maybe I may be singing a different tune if I lived like in a very, not so great area of town. But like currently, if flock cameras were riddled across the streets, I don't think it would add a whole lot of extra benefit to my security. And in fact, I think it would only hinder some of my security as far as like my likeness and all that, and my location being tracked all the time. But I think I do trust in the system that currently works, and I think it should change and it should evolve, but I don't think it should evolve with the camera systems that we're talking about now that are super unsecure and. But see,
that's one of the things that's been brought up is most of these cameras are in those. I don't want to say lesser areas.
Yeah.
What's the word I'm looking for?
More crime-ridden areas.
Crime-ridden areas and things like that. So,
right.
Okay, you're targeting people now.
Oh, well,
I think the same people that make these cameras also make the shot detection cameras too.
What
detects
is that?
Like gunshots.
Gunshots in
really?
the area.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's like the gray area that I stand in.
There's some people that don't like that either.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I know. But for me personally, if I had to make that change tomorrow, or like if I could prevent a crime tomorrow, but I would have to like
not just any crime, a violent crime.
A violent
so that means
crime.
somebody being killed,
violently
assaulted and hurt, being kidnapped.
Maybe I have too much faith in the current system, but I feel like if something like that was happening, I feel like I would trust the law enforcement that currently has its plan in place. And maybe I'm wrong. And but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, and I think I'm willing to be
very
wrong.
Curious with our listeners.
Yeah, I'm very interested.
What would they think about that if you had the power?
Yes.
To stop one violent act.
Yes. Would you potentially?
Would
risk,
you?
Yeah.
The price would be allowing basically daily surveillance.
Yeah.
Would you make that trade?
That's a hard question.
And if you would, where would you draw the line?
Yeah. This feels like one of those perfect gray area type things.
Yeah.
Where,
I mean,
at least for me, not everyone. But
speaking of gray areas,
okay.
One thing that we have not touched upon was Senator Lindsey Graham passed.
Okay.
And, he was long time. He was a conservative.
Mm-hmm.
And, as far as we know, he was in perfect health. Did y'all know that?
No.
He was golfing the day before he died.
Right.
And suddenly, the first night, he's been home alone in more than 3 years.
Okay.
He has a heart attack and dies. But more suspiciously to me, and this is just me thinking, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, and feel free to do it, and I want our listeners to chime in too. But what's really suspicious is that he was the chair of the committee that defunded the Clinton Foundation 3 days before that.
Oh, come on.
Okay,
man.
so it looks like the senator has become the 231st person or installment in the Clinton body bag count.
Yep, that's crazy.
3 days.
Yeah,
3
that
days,
was a
they
shock.
defunded
That was a shock.
the Clinton Foundation, and all of a sudden, magically, he has a heart attack.
Yeah,
The first time he's been alone in 3 years.
that's crazy.
Magically.
Right, of course. Wink, wink, magically. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
And I wanted to throw that in because I see we're kind of winding the show down. But,
Right, yeah.
you know, Arsenio Hall did that thing in his show, things that make you go,
Yeah.
hello.
Right.
Yeah,
Wake up, America.
That was a bit of a shock.
Hey, my hat.
Right. Yeah.
What's
you're
it
right.
say?
It says think before it's illegal, or think while it's still legal.
Think while it's still legal.
Yeah.
Because we need to.
Yep.
They defund the Clintons.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, a reigning longtime senator
Right.
dies who was playing golf the day before.
Interesting.
Really? Perfect health.
For anybody who wants to share their opinion on this, we got comment sections on YouTube and on Spotify where you can leave us some short form responses. And if there's anybody out there who does want to leave us a long form response, we have an email address, getoffendedtogether@gmail.com.
And I'm sure I offend somebody
we've
every
all- you
episode.
probably-
Feel free to hit us up.
I think we've each
That's
probably
okay.
offended somebody at some point in time. And be sure, like we've said before in the past, we are on all the major podcasting platforms. Be sure to follow us where you can or subscribe. Leave us a like where you can as well, or rate the podcast. It really does mean a lot. And share it with someone you think would like this or potentially hate this because, you know, all press is good press. And until next week, thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everyone, and God bless.
At the end of the day, flock cameras are not difficult to understand. They are cameras that read license plates, vehicles, help police find people connected to crimes. And when one of those cameras helps recover a stolen car, locate a missing child, or catch someone who has hurt another person, it's hard to argue that the technology has no value. It clearly does. But that's not where the conversation ends. That's kind of where it begins. Because the same system capable of finding a dangerous criminal can also record millions of innocent drivers. It can show you when you left home, where you traveled, the town that you entered, and possibly the church, doctor's office, political meeting, or businesses that you visited. The technology itself is neither moral or immoral. The real question is, who controls it? Who can search it? How long the information is kept? And what happens when somebody crosses the line? We should not have to choose between safe communities and constitutional liberty. We should demand both. Use the cameras for serious crime, require officers to document every search, make warrants necessary for long-term tracking, and punish anyone who misuses the system. Make every contract, policy, audit, and outside agency agreement public. Because public safety without accountability becomes surveillance. And privacy without effective law enforcement can leave innocent people unprotected. The answer is not blind trust, and it's not blind fear. The answer is strong guardrails, public oversight, and citizens who are paying attention. Share this episode with someone who drives past these cameras every day and may not even know they are there. Flock cameras may be watching the road. The question is, who's watching Flock? Thanks for hanging out with us today, guys. You're the best. Peace.